It's my turn to edit, bitches.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to This Week I'm Learning, the podcast where things happen for reasons. And yes, we lightly research topics and then tell you all about them, and it will be fun. This is episode 44 of season 2, recorded April 27th, 2021. I'm your host, Brandon Vader, and pardon our mess for this episode. There's some jankiness because of relocating bodies, and yes.
Wait a minute. Are we doing an on location kind of thing?
Apparently.
Yeah.
We are slightly on location here. Yes.
Boom,
and
baby.
we're in my new living room because the rest of the house is a total disaster zone because moving sucks. That's most of what I have learned this week is moving sucks. I have learned that lesson before. I had to relearn it though.
This week, that's what we learned.
Yes, Cody was kind enough to come down and help me move, and he had some stuff to take care of too. And yes, all to get him to be actually on that beach and not on my couch.
There you go.
The couch is really comfortable, though.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, if it's got a level of comfort, the couch is probably more comfortable than the beach.
But the beach is warm and there's water and you could just be like floating and it would be wonderful. But anyway, I digress. We should get on with the show already. So, below me video-wise, but next to me in real life, Cody Stratman, also known as Psychonitrous. And because Cody is not recording, I don't know where the rest of you are in relation. So I'm going to assume that Charlie is that direction virtually.
You are correct.
I have figured it out. And then down in that corner, because we always put baby in the corner, Colton Roper, also known as Seeker4761, and that is the amount of fucking boxes we have moved this weekend.
It's good for you. It's good for your.
So true.
It's good for your backs.
Outstanding.
Just make sure you lift with a hard jerking, twisting motion. That's how you're supposed to lift.
And it's all from the back.
And you know, if there's anything I've learned as a paramedic, it's don't lift with your back, lift with your firefighters.
Yeah, too bad they're volunteer service here, and I don't know that they would have volunteered for this work.
That's fine. Steve would have helped.
Oh, totally.
Steve
definitely would have helped.
Otherwise, twist and shout.
It's all about that axial loading.
Oh, this week Cody is going to tell us about sailing away. Wait, no, that's not right. And now I have the Enya song. Sail away, sail away, sail away.
Yep, it's all right.
In order to actually have a copyright strike, we have to be monetized, and we're not. So
We're
we
almost
just get
there.
Copyright
We are
claimed,
almost there, gentlemen.
which is not as bad. And because this is reading this off my phone, and Colton is going to tell us that 2021 just might be wrong. Just like this episode of our podcast. Well, I mean, that makes sense because it's really 2020 part 2, but sure.
And so I don't screw up like I did last week, I'm actually going to talk about the right person. And Charlie is going to tell us about it's a bird, it's a plane. Why were the first two people so excited?
It's true. It's a question I've asked myself all the way through childhood. And then Brandon is going to get some tech in your face.
In your face.
But we already talked about this episode, and he won't be getting it in his face because he's against that.
I mean, we'll see.
Whoa.
I said
Something big must have happened if he's actually changed his mind on cybernetics.
No?
You are making assumptions, sir.
Yeah,
That is
I do
okay.
make ass out of me and you often. So, all right, Cody, start us off.
So it's actually flying away, but I couldn't think of anything. Because I recently have experience with it, because I am here.
Yes.
Space
know
time
what it
continuum's
is.
all fucked up.
Exactly. Know what it is like to fly during the pandemic. So I figured I would share some of my personal insights on it. What is different? What is the same? What is maybe not noticeable? Let's start with booking the ticket. First of all, and I've kind of gone over this before, if you're flying to certain areas, for instance Hawaii, there are certain precautions that you have to take, certain tests that are required, so you have to pay attention to where you're going. The airlines so far do a pretty good job of representing that, of like, hey, you're going here, you'll need to know this. Then arrival at the airport, not really too much different there. Checking in, that process was pretty much the same for me, except for mask use, because that's pretty much everywhere anyway. So that's actually different than the normal, but not really different from everyday life. A lot of this stuff is food wise is closed at airports now. Like that's definitely something that is very noticeable, at least in the Anchorage airport. And so the other part about it is, because I'm one of those elite pretentious bastards when it comes to flying, I'll talk about the lounge experience. Yep. The lounge, there actually I was pretty impressed. They had the pancake machine, the glorious pancake printer, where you get to push the button and receive 2 pancakes. The food, like if you get fruit cups or something like that, those, rather than being like serve yourself little plates and stuff, they are pre-wrapped containers. Things are more spaced out in the lounge. Otherwise, that I wouldn't say that experience has been diminished too much. Boarding's actually been kind of the same now that I think about it. Certain airlines, to certain degrees, are actually blocking middle seats in certain areas. So I can talk about Alaska Airlines specifically in the premium economy. So the further up, middle up of the plane, they have the middle seats blocked. But in regular economy, the middle seats are unblocked.
So basically, you can afford to be slightly safer if you pay more money.
Pretty much.
Just
and the
a
CDC
point of order. I think it's awesome how you looked to Brandon to when he's talking instead of looking at the camera. I love it. This is the best episode. I'm just saying. Go on. Go on.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Brandon, stop it.
Brandon, am I looking the right way? Ah, shit, I don't even know. This is weird coming
It
from
has
this side.
been so hard to not, like, I see Cody gesticulating in, like, right next to me, and it's just like, I want to look over. I feel rude for not looking over when he's talking, but camera.
The weird thing is, it's like podcast and radio shows are done that way that you guys are doing it. This is weird. This is all like pandemic shit right here. So just interesting. It's just an observation. Go on with you.
So yeah, the middle seats kind of in certain areas are blocked. I would say actually with boarding process, the groups are spaced out a little bit more, so you're not running into each other as much in the jetway, which is good, because while the plane's air system is fine, the jetway and airport's air circulation system is not great, or non-existent, unless you leave the door open to it, which security won't really let you do.
Yeah, big AAA fine, FAA fines there.
Yeah. Let me think. Arrival process. Actually, before we get to the arrival process, the announcements have changed a little bit. So specifically, when they do say that it's a federal offense, not to wear what's the word I'm looking for?
Face
It's
covering?
basically it's a federal mandate to wear a face covering on the aircraft unless you are eating or drinking. And this varies, I will say, it varies by route and flight crew to how strict they have that. Whether or not you mask down, bite, mask up, chew, or mask down, bite, eat, mask up. So there's definitely some wiggle room there depending on the airline. I would say don't be a dick about it. Like,
I was gonna say, how many extra people have they hired to just look at everyone and make sure they're following those rules? How many thousands,
no,
tens of people? I know.
It's the
no
same
more
people,
flight crew.
just
Yeah.
with a new responsibility.
Yeah, and so the announcement's a little bit different. They do tell you because people are special. If there's an emergency and the ventilation cups fall down, to remove your personal mask first and then put the cup on, because
So
humanity.
generally speaking, I don't speculate who is not on your flights, but I can tell you with certainty that Laura Reinbold was not on your flight.
So that is funny that you mentioned that, because interesting tidbit. My flight went from Anchorage to Juneau because I wanted a new dot and a new line. And then from Juneau to Seattle. Guess who I missed by like 30 minutes doing that? I was standing in that spot 30 minutes. Like, I found out about that while I was in midair on my flight from Juneau to Seattle.
So the whole incident where she was getting banned was your flight, or the flight before you?
It was a different flight going from Anchorage to Juneau.
Holy shit.
I
Okay.
really did miss it by like 30 minutes.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Laura Reinbold is a state representative in Alaska. The capital of Alaska is Juneau. It's generally poorly commuted by either plane or ferry. There is not a lot of road access through the Alcan.
There is no road access.
Yeah,
it's not that there's not.
You can't get to the rest of the United States by land.
You can get to Juneau. You can get to Juneau, and you can get to like 20 miles of road around Juneau that doesn't really serve any other main communities.
So it is representative threw a monumental hissy fit about having to wear a mask on a plane, and Alaska banned her. So now
Alaska Airlines,
who
is the only airline that flies into Juneau.
Yes. So now
unbelievable.
She's gotten familiar with the ferry system and a new appreciation for the ferry system, and it is now a 12-hour detour for her to be able to go to her job.
Because she has to take the ferry to Haines.
All because
and then
she had to make it political.
to have to go through Canada, which I don't know if Canada would let her through. So really, this is... Yeah, I guess the way she could get around it is private pilots, which there are a ton in Alaska, but it's going to be a multi-hop to get to Anchorage from Juneau. From there, you have to stop at so many tiny little communities.
What is her home jurisdiction, by the way? Do you know?
I don't know offhand. All I know is this is not her first incident.
This is not. This is not based on anything, and I haven't looked at this. But my gut instinct is telling me Wasilla. Because Sarah Palin.
I can't tell you either way. I know that even my mom, who is leans conservatively, she has even wrote this woman letters to
Cool it a little
Stop being an idiot. Yeah. So yeah. I anyway.
Eagle River. So
Okay.
she's Anchorage, right?
I don't know if Anchorage would be a separate jurisdiction than Eagle River. It's close enough where it may be the same jurisdiction, but I could
So,
see
yeah.
them being.
You know what's interesting? Random adjacent side point is I actually have an Eagle River High School T-shirt upstairs in my bedroom.
Intriguing.
Yep.
There's a TWIL tip for you.
Yep. Okay. Sorry to hijack your little.
No, it's fine. Yeah, as far as that goes, I think that's really where the differences end. As far as like picking up my luggage, there wasn't really anything different there. Yeah, as far as hotels, okay, I will say that actually hotels, the big difference is a lot of them don't do stay over cleanup, so they only will clean the room when you leave. Yep. So if you're in a hotel for a long time, it's up to you to keep that clean.
Clean up your own fucking mess.
Yeah, and pools. Most hotels right now are closing their pools too.
I think. I mean, every hotel in Tucson has shut down their pool. I think, well, half in Phoenix, so that's probably why they've had some issues. But who knows?
So what's interesting is when I was in Tucson over spring break with my family, we actually went to 2 different pools in Tucson. We were able to go swim.
Nice.
Yeah, but you need to be able to dip into cold water when in Arizona.
It wasn't even hot. It wasn't.
Inferno.
Okay.
It's not even hot now.
It
melting.
did snow the morning that we got there. It snowed.
Oh, okay, but you brought that with you, so
yeah, and
that doesn't count.
It melted as it landed, so there was 0 accumulation. It was hilarious because there was a winter storm warning, and we actually had a snow shovel in the back of the van we were driving. We were the only vehicle in Tucson with a snow shovel, guaranteed. But yeah, okay, sorry.
Anyway, I think it's probably time for us to switch and Colton to tell us why 2021 isn't or is wrong, or we're all wrong, or the universe is wrong.
Time is an illusion.
Well, you're not wrong there.
So, kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole because why not? Because the internet is great and the best thing that's ever been invented. So, after last week's historical look at the Great Emu War, I kind of wanted to stay on that track and look at other interesting little tidbits of history. For example, did you know that the Middle Ages never happened? Just straight up never happened.
Yeah, you're going to need to explain that.
I actually had a note in there to say, dun, 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 but I fucked it up. That's all right. Who needs a script? So, in 1991, a German historian by the name of Herbert Illig, probably pronouncing that wrong, but close enough, published what has come to be known as the phantom time hypothesis. The theory goes that the years of 614 to 911 AD are simply a historical fabrication. Did not happen. Totally made up.
So what did happen during that time then?
Oh, you will
Nothing.
see.
It was like Monday to Tuesday.
It literally did not happen. There's nothing, no time happened. It's completely made up, according to this theory. So this would mean that the current year is not 2021, or as Cody kind of alluded to earlier, extended 2020.
Part 2.
As some have called it, but it's actually 1724. And all of this is because Otto III, a Holy Roman Emperor, and a Pope, because there's always a fucking Pope involved, they wanted to live in the year 1000 and not 700, which is what Big Calendar wants you to believe. So, it's because of the Holy Roman Emperor and a Pope. That's why. They made that time up. Those 300 years, they just added history. Charlemagne, never happened. Just added it to make it seem like some history happened in those 300 years because time still has to happen, but that's the theory, at least. So why did Herbert Elig think this? He has three kind of main pillars, if you will. One of the things is that archaeological records from that time period are few and far between, which not a lot of stuff was recorded during that time compared to other time periods. Well, because Dark Ages, Middle Ages. Roman architecture was still constructed during the 10th century, which is long after the Roman Empire fell. And his third pillar is calendars be whack. The shift from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar caused all sorts of weird issues, and that's partly where that 300 years went. But
Okay. So
I've got a problem with that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cody.
So I know the shift between the Julian calendar and the Gregorian calendar has caused issues.
Hundreds of years of issues.
Yeah, lots of years. But I have always heard that it was a 6-year shift, that we are 6 years off from where we were supposed to be, not 300, but 6.
Well, I mean, it's the theory, and they're just saying based on it has something to do with, I guess, at least the theory goes, it has something to do with the fact that Easter was getting so far off because of the Julian calendar didn't account for leap years and stuff. So by a certain amount of time, it ended up, it's only a matter of days. And this part is slightly confusing to me, but who knows? But I'm going to let you guys in a little secret. It's total fucking bullshit. It's pseudo history. We in fact are living in the year 2021. And the theories can be easily disproven with astronomy, basic logic, and history, in fact. The first aspect can be disproven with the fact that central medieval Europe was not the only place with people in the whole goddamn world. Historical records China, the Tang dynasty still, the Tang dynasty still existed during these phantom years. Islamic history never had any sort of fall from intellectual thought, so their historical timeline still matters. And yeah, so that's one reason. Dendrochronological records, which is tree rings, also verify historical climate data. And while humans may be flawed in many, many fucking ways, we are actually really good at astronomy and astronomical events. Halley's Comet and eclipses and stuff like that happened pretty much to the hour that they were recorded based on our history and everything. So it's total bullshit. The whole pseudo history kind of crap. So who knows? The Roman architecture thing is silly because, well, we still build Roman architecture today. We still build houses with Caesar's Palace. We still have Roman columns in some of our government buildings. So why the hell 400 years after the Roman Empire fell, if we're still building 1,000 years later, why wouldn't we be building 400 years later? And the calendar thing is flawed because Easter was wrong and wasn't fixed for 300 years with the Council of Nicaea and blah, blah, blah. Basically, that's where the 300 missing years comes from based on this theory. It's unbelievable that this is a published theory. To be fair, it's not really widely accepted, obviously. This particular historian, we'll call him that, has his theories on like how the pyramids were made, weird stuff that's kind of like the Holocaust denial crap, and yeah, it's
this isn't the aliens, bro, dude, is it?
No, it's not him. This is
okay.
That guy is not actually a historian in any way. As a random fact, I think he's just some guy with crazy hair. Yeah, I think it's something like that. So he just had crazy hair and aliens. I can't do the meme. Sorry. So the reason I was kind of interested in this whole thing is because the internet is the greatest invention and everything on it is 100% correct. It's kind of interesting how different timelines are starting to become real to some people. Stuff that is...
Well, the internet is basically one gigantic game of telephone.
Exactly. You have issues. What's the meme of scientists of the 90s were like cloning sheep, and now they're having to tell people that the goddamn Earth is actually round. So
I actually have a quick tangent on flat earthers. So there is a way that you can prove to a flat earther that the world is not flat without using science as your reasoning.
how?
So
Yeah, take a flight from
the most accepted
Australia.
Yeah, the most accepted view of the shape of the Earth is a North Pole as the center of the Earth on a plane, according to them. However, there is a flight that goes from Santiago to Australia, and there is not currently a commercial jet that exists that could do that, flying at the 17th parallel all the way around without multiple refuelings. And in the time that they actually perform the flight, the aircraft would have to be going like Mach 4.
Mid-air refuelings. bro.
Honestly, like,
Mid-air refuelings. Minecraft Earth. forever.
Titanium skin.
it's a the flat Earth theory. Like, I'm gonna do an episode. One of my topics is gonna be like some of the flat Earth theories are honestly hilarious, and there's a whole rant on that. But it's like this whole pseudo history thing. Like, again, you have the silly stuff like the ancient aliens theory, the ancient astronauts theory, that aliens came thousands of years ago, gave humans the basic tools to do what
Anunnaki.
they need to do, based on weird things of like how certain gods are sort of similar depending on parts of the world. It's weird. Up like the silly stuff up to the more nefarious like Holocaust denial and shit like that. So it's important to me to actually kind of know what these fringe theories are, because as we've seen with like QAnon and other little theories out, the conspiracy theories out there, they can be blown up. All it takes is the right person to do the right video for it to go viral, and then all of a sudden we're having to fight with yet another version of reality. So just fascinating to think about, considering like this is a published historian that believes that the Middle Ages didn't happen, and yeah, it's silly, but also interesting at the same time. So that's what I learned about this week. I learned about bullshit.
I was going to say next week for our farming segment.
But what isn't bullshit? It's Superman. Tell us about Superman, Charlie. I assume that's what you're talking about.
We're not talking about Superman.
Ah,
It is
seemed like it
definitely a
was.
Superman reference.
Ooh.
But Richard Browning, who is a U.S. Navy test pilot with over 6,000 hours of flight, founded a company a couple years ago named Gravity. And the irony is that he doesn't really believe that it pertains to him.
Ooh.
So he is the founder and chief test pilot of this organization. And they have performed over 100 flights in 30 countries. He's performed 5 TED Talks. And most recently, there's a video, which I will link in the description, with the Netherlands Maritime Special Operation Forces, or SOF, doing a boarding action in a military capacity. So he performs the role of the first boots on the boat, which is a very important role because it's the guy that if he is repelled as a boarder, the whole boarding action falls apart. So his job in this flight suit role is to land, deploy the ladder, and hold the ladder and allow his forces to storm the boat. So that's the test they did. So it's very impressive because they deployed this flight suit from the back of a Zodiac boat. He flies, he lands, he disengages his engines off of his hands, goes tactical, and then once the boat's secure, goes back, re-engages, and flies back and lands on the Zodiac. Very impressive. In other recent videos, he's seen working with the Netherlands Urban Intervention Special Operations Forces, or SOF, and is doing, basically Call of Duty with a jetpack. Like, seriously, like, this is coming. We are now here. So what's interesting about this flight suit is it utilizes 6, either 5 or 6 jet engines. So you'll have 4, 2 on each arm, jets with a cowling to protect his hands from the exhaust on each side, and 1 or 2 jets on his back. And this allows him to have a sustained flight time of 10 minutes, which is, brief but tactical. It's not a
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
honestly,
that's
there's
longer than
there's
what
a
we
lot you can
used to do.
do. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and it's actually longer than many of my FPV flights with the battery capacity.
And
Now-
if you're going at the speeds this guy's going, you can get a long way real quick.
Right. So I've seen video iterations where, he plays a paramedic in the Scottish Highlands, which are incredibly difficult to navigate as a paramedic because of the roads and the fjords and the locks and the it's not kind territory. But being able to fly as the crow does to the patient and work to stabilize while the people with wheels find their way to you. I've seen him perform stunts on a cruise ship, flying around cruise ships. He's actually a pretty impressive dude. So I am very excited to see where this lands us. Now, caution note, that blue line that you see right there, there's 2 of them. That's the fuel line. He's wearing a bomb, and it's not bulletproof. He goes boom if he gets shot. I mean, granted, if he gets shot, he's still shot, so he's having a bad day already. But if he goes shot and then boom, it's not going to have another day. That's just the last day. So I foresee a period of time where these are comically bad in a combat scenario,
Well,
and then we will
not-
have Iron Man.
I mean, not if you're close enough to the enemy. It's like, oh, don't shoot him because then we both explode.
Yeah, well, the current enemies we have don't really care about blowing themselves up, so I don't see that as a deterrent.
It's also I feel like it'd be pretty kind of difficult to hit him if he's going full speed.
This is true, but he has to slow down and hover. The concept of a helicopter, that its most dangerous point is when it's attempting to land, and that's when it will maneuver the least. And if he is engaging in a tactical situation, he's wanting to land as close to the enemy as possible in order to not have to lug the jetpack to the enemy. Because if you arrive tired, then you don't have much fight in you. So his company is based out of Goodwood Estate in Chester, UK. There's also an LA campus with a company called Air 7 as his partner. The vehicle itself has 1,000 brake horsepower. When you take into account the fact that he is only 100 kilograms, that's a lot.
That's some force.
Yes. The average flight time is 10 minutes, so nothing to really write home to mom about. But considering that we weren't able to do half that 20 years ago, that he's doing a lot. He's doing some things. I will be very intrigued to find out what the Special Forces of the United States of America have been doing with this for the last couple of years without us knowing. But I expect SEAL Team 7 or 11 or something to be
4,761.
Yeah. Not Meal Team 6, but SEAL Team 6. Yeah. So right now, all of his proof of concept for the military that's going on YouTube, at least, is with the Netherlands. But best believe that everyone's paying attention. So
Yeah, it's cool.
He is the test pilot in all of the videos I've seen. I've not seen a single other person fly. So I just hope he doesn't crash and die, because then someone else has to learn from ground zero without an instructor. So
How big is this guy's company? Can't be that big.
It's fairly big. So the flight suit originally was $444,000. It is now down to $250,000. And I'm guessing by the time that it actually goes to production, which you can go to gravity.co and order one of these things. I said that correctly. You can go to gravity.co and buy one of these suits. Brandon, I'm looking at you. No.
See, he could get a running start with his skateboard.
Expect that to happen soon. I'm expecting China to buy one of these, and we're gonna have some flying combat soon. So maybe 2942 happens soon.
It would make paintball a lot more interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Airsoft. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Maybe
mean,
we'll have to
how
build
are you going to
Titans
hold the
next.
weapon, though? In air, how
So
are you going to hold the weapon?
you don't hold it in air. That's the key. Is he's holding? So in the videos that I've seen where he actually has a weapon, it's either a paintball facsimile or it is a live weapon with simunition, which is a real gun that fires a paintball round out of a real typical round. Simunition hurts like a son of a bitch, by the way. Somewhere between Murder Hornet and just pain. It's slung. So as soon as he lands, he disconnects the throttle and sheds the hands and then goes tactical.
See, it
So-
seems like this would be a good idea for the little Predator, shoulder mounted thing.
Right, the War Machine style over the shoulder Gatling.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe with some eye tracking?
Mm.
Yeah. I foresee if this goes the way I think it's going to go, that the F-35's helmet is going to be integral to this functionality.
Oh, totally.
Because that level of technology in the hands of someone in a jetpack, that's fucking cool. So, all right, Brandon, get some tech in your face. In
Face.
your face.
In your face.
Yeah, if these were better, I would suggest that maybe he could do something with these, but unfortunately it's a Razer product that looks interesting. So
when you say a Razer product, like, it is not far from April 1st, and I know that we had the Razer Rapunzel. So
no,
it
these
makes
are
you
these
wonder-
are actually real, have reviews.
I just want to say that I appreciate the fact that I see both of you slightly turning your head towards each other to retort and argue. No, you got to Brady Bunch it now.
No, I made sure, like, I actually did a search for is Razer Anzu smart glasses an April Fool's joke, and it's not. You can really buy them. They are a real product that has been reviewed by syndicated companies. But really, they're not even that. Like, there are other competing products in this space. They're basically wearable personal audio device, just in the shape of glasses. So the side piece is wider, and then it's got like little small slit grills for the speaker. You've got some microphone like in the temples.
So I'm kind of surprised that I was waiting for you to actually say like bone induction audio rather than use, because then they could be waterproof.
Yeah, if they used bone induction, you wouldn't have the audio bleed out. It would be able to have an IP rating, and it would be more fascinating if it was bone conduction. I wish it was, because I would be more interested and be seriously looking at, like, maybe I could find a way to make this work as a workflow.
It could be that and because I've never used bone induction, it could be that the audio quality on bone induction is inferior to, speakers.
It is, but it also works.
It works in loud
better.
environments.
Yeah.
Works really well in loud environments. I've tested.
Yeah,
with
like
something like that.
the audio quality is a little, like, there's not as much like spatial tuning. Like you wouldn't be able to like play a game with it and know that, like, okay, this shot came from back here or like over here. It's more like, okay, it's somewhere on the left side or somewhere on the right side. There's no spatial awareness. There's also not a lot of bass, strangely enough. Like, I'm sure you could put just like a vibration motor to like accent the bass like they did. Like, I remember headphones back in 2005 like started putting like the little rumble pack motors from the N64 controllers like into the ear cups, and that was like the bass boost functionality. And yeah, but no, these like Bose makes a competing set. Then you've got the Amazon glasses. But the thing I've kind of found interesting about these is, as far as I'm aware, and again, lightly researched because moving and chaos, these are the first ones that I've actually seen take a prescription lens. And that
Which
is like one of,
which is funny because most likely test base and the first people that would use it probably have glasses. I mean, I don't mean that in any
Yeah.
derogatory way. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like I wear thick black glasses because I like that style. And it would be easy for me to be like, oh, a little bit thicker, and I get some smart functionality.
yeah,
So really, we've got this. This doesn't really do anything with the lenses itself. It's not a Google Glass. It's a like multiple device in one. So you can have your headphones with that, and maybe a microphone that pairs with something else.
Yeah, so you can, from the reviews that I've read, the microphone is only usable in call, like hooked to a phone as a call, or like that stupid Bluetooth profile thing on Windows where it like degrades the sound quality to make it like a phone call thing. I fucking hate Bluetooth profiles. It's stupid. Absolutely stupid. But yeah, it's so they're high quality mics, so apparently sound quality on like an actual smartphone making a call is great. The one reviewer that was able to get it to hook up to a Windows 10 laptop said that it did the degradation Bluetooth profile, and it just the built-in webcam in his test laptop was better.
Hmm.
But I I like seeing technology like this come out because I do believe that like I've always wanted to be able to like have notifications just pop in on my glasses. I've worn glasses since I was old enough to keep them on my face. So I've always thought it would be cool to be able to have like some sort of computer input screen. And then there was that guy, God, I wish I could remember his name. That back in the 80s was like the human walking computer, and he had that like massive, he used like the viewfinder off of a camcorder to like,
in the 80s.
no,
It was
yes,
basically the eyepiece from an Apache helicopter.
Huh.
yeah, kind of.
So it's like the smart gun eyepiece from the Aliens movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it. Either way, it's interesting. I mean, we're actually getting things that are usable for people that you know. It's not an extra accessory; it's a combination of accessories. So I could see this as really a just a good benefit for people rather than kind of a gimmick, even though it doesn't have the bone induction stuff. I mean, maybe version two, like, okay, with the phone, Razer phone, the first version didn't have an IP rating. It didn't have wireless charging. So I could see this happening.
To me, like the key is if you're going off of like an industry standard or industry leader, if Apple makes it, it will become cool and Apple will probably do it well. So if when Apple makes something like that, then you know we're living in the damn future with it when it comes to that stuff. I would also argue Microsoft can sort of make it work, and with their is it Microsoft who got that big government contract to make AR stuff for the military?
HoloLens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, with all that money, all that R&D development with that much money, I'm sure we'll see some consumer stuff come back to us a little bit. But again,
Okay.
if you want it to look fashionable and in any sort of real way, Apple's the one who has to make it happen. Because once they
pretty
do
much
it,
you have to have.
I mean,
Yeah. They make it
It's-
hipstery, make it appeal to the hipsters, and then it will be mass market.
well, it's not just that. It's more, and for all the crap we give Apple with their ecosystem, if it just works and it's easy for the layman to use, then it will become everyone will use it, which means other companies, Samsung, Microsoft, all these other companies will have to respond in some way because it's the hot new thing. Then it'll become normal, and with
Right.
all that extra R&D development, it'll become smaller. The Google Glass concept could be done at that point because someone will have to try something different at that point. But again,
So pretty much-
Apple is going to have to do it just like the way it's been for the past 15 years. If Apple does something first, the industry will follow. Right or wrong,
They
that's
don't
just
even
what
have
happens.
they don't even have to do it first. They just have to
They
say
have to.
that
They have
did
to.
it first.
It's not even that. They have to
exactly.
do it right. They have to do
okay,
it.
Okay. So here's what we're saying, just so I can rephrase this into a different way: that everything's okay as long as Apple steals your product. If Apple steals your stuff, it's all good. But
Well,
everybody
I mean,
else, no.
It's
If
not.
your idea is not worth stealing, then it's not good enough.
Apple has a way of marketing better than these other companies. That's their, and again, with their ecosystem, it works. And the regular person will make it work. For the tech guys, we could all make a Google Glass system work, or something, or this Razer thing. I mean, it's a fancy headset or headphones with glasses. It's not super complicated. But for the next level, with Apple's marketing and their cult following, it's what has to happen. I mean, what right or wrong, that's where Apple goes, the industry follows. At least for the past 15, 20 years.
Yeah. And if I remember right, Apple is working on VR tech and AR tech. I mean, they've got the AR toolkit embedded in the modern generation iPhones. It is going to happen. It's nice to see more of these kind of like, hey, look, we're going to, maybe it's a little chunky, but these are like glasses looking things
Yeah,
that
luckily
people who
the
have
big
to
thick
wear
rimmed
prescription
glasses.
glasses.
I was gonna say, luckily the big thick rimmed prescription glasses are in right now, so perfect
Yeah.
time. Why not? Fuck it.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. I get excited at wearable tech because as we discussed in our cyborg episode, like I'm not comfortable with the cyborgy crap, but you give me like a smartwatch or smart glasses or something that I can like put on and take off, I want it. I absolutely want it. It's like the calculator watch when we were all in like middle school of like, oh my god, that's so cool. I want it. It's like power on your wrist. And now I have a smartwatch, and really the only thing it actually does is just like notifications and quick like yep, nope, you can go to voicemail, or yep, I'll do a quick response text to that.
Where's our laser cutter on our watch?
I know.
Where's the
James
they
Bond
even?
lie.
Where's the Bond tech?
Grappling hook.
Yep. It upset me so much that one of the first smartwatch commercials was a Bond reference, and yet we have none of the Bond toys on our watch.
Why you lying, Hollywood?
But
Yep.
but I do
I
have the
mean-
Dick Tracy walkie-talkie function on my Apple Watch.
Yeah, I do
That
on my
makes sense.
Samsung watch.
But can they talk together? Probably not, because that would just make
Nope.
too much sense.
I mean, if I called Charlie,
It's
yes,
not
Yeah,
walkie
we can call
talkie.
each other, but not
That's
the
not
walkie-talkie
walkie talkie. That's
function.
not the same
that's
thing.
true.
It's different.
I'm
You'll
sure
feel
that there
cool.
is I'm sure that there is a third-party app that we could both install to do that, but
Yep.
Nothing little
okay.
bloatware and extra crap on
I
your
mean-
devices.
But then the Apple people would have to get out of the safety of their ecosystem and their walled garden.
It's okay.
and then I
wouldn't.
wouldn't have a blue icon next to my name
And again,
in iMessage chat.
I don't think people care about that as long as it works. That is something they may not know how to fix it. As long as it works is all that matters.
All joking aside, I definitely give you that.
Yeah. No, as much shit as I give Apple, it's mostly because it's a walled garden and I like to mess with things too much. I like to tinker and figure out like the nuts and bolts. And Apple is not really happy when you start tinkering with things. But their products are beautiful. Their products do work well for their users. I prefer my slightly more open ecosystem. I like chaos.
You like to be hacked.
Maybe I like to hack.
I wonder how many times Brandon has been hacked.
Much less than 4,007. Gosh darn it. See,
Oh,
4761.
come on. Wow.
I have never actually said 4,761 on this podcast or ever. It's just you are Seeker 4761. So
in this year 1726, this is the end of our friendship, Brandon. I'm sorry.
300 years before it started.
Never happened.
I hated you before you were born.
I'd say that's a good positive aspect to end our little Frankenstein experiment podcast on.
Yes, our quasi simulcast.
Oh God, the space-time continuum is busted again. Doesn't make sense.
I would turn my laptop, but it just does, that.
Yeah.
If I turn it, he might phase
there he is.
Great. Now I need eye bleach.
All right. Well, with that, Seeker, where can we find you?
My name is Colton Roper. I go by Seeker4761 in most things. I do a Twitch stream pretty consistently, twitch.tv/Seeker4761. I've also been pretty consistent with my game review Thursday. I actually got another game from an actual developer to review, so that will be it's pretty fun. So I'll be getting that up next week, and there will be one, of course, this week as well, every Thursday. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, probably TikTok. Yeah, they're all the same thing. Seeker4761. Ziva and Charlie, where can we find you?
You can find me here every week, and YouTube at Milnor, Twitch at Milnor. You can find me on Steam, on Facebook, all of the things. It's always spelled wrong, so I always get it right. Also, we are doing the Dark Horizon Twitch and Dark Horizon YouTube. The first Twitch will be coming this week at the very least, and then uploads to the YouTube channel whenever I can actually get that channel created. Turns out I can't use an @TheTechPirate email to create a Gmail address, so I gotta do it darkhorizon@gmail.com too.
That's all right.
Fun.
We can forward shit.
So look forward to that and lots of us streaming together and playing ridiculousness and games and bullshittery. So, Cody, push to talk, my friend.
Yep. Yeah.
Frankenstein.
New stuff. You can find me right next to this dog this week. But you can also find me on YouTube, Striving to Fail. And you can fly me
to the moon.
You can find me, actually.
You might have a new catchphrase for your Striving to Fail. I'm serious. You can fly me here.
Maybe. That's actually not bad.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that. Even though I was going to say that you could find me on my flight radar as Roaming Geek.
Nice.
Is it roaming
where he acquired a new geek
next to the Greeks, or is it roaming like ROAMING?
ROAMING.
Roaming as in moving around a lot.
Yes, not like
seeking, if you will,
becoming more Rome.
Not Italian geek. No, got it. Okay. All right, Brandon, take us home.
And I am Brandon Vader. You can find me on thetechpirate.net, where I will start posting more. I actually have I'm hoping, standing desk that might be tall enough for us like over 6 foot folks that is waiting for me to build in the other room. So hopefully I'll put up a, yes, I will. How about that? I will put up a review of that. Because I know there's a lot of people out there looking for like these standing, sitting, moving desks. And I am Dracanis most places. And yeah, I'm hoping to start playing some more Star Citizen. I will start streaming more now that, well, once the chaos that is my life gets unpacked and put into this new
There are
home.
boxes all around us.
So, in other
All
words,
around us.
1798. Got it.
We'll get there.
Yep. Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, thank you all for joining us on this episode of TWIL. You can find us where you find audio podcasts, wherever you find them. You can also find us on Spotify and yes,
Pocket
YouTube,
Casts.
Pocket
Apple
Casts.
Podcasts.
Oh, we are on Apple now?
I think we are.
Ooh, excellent. You can find us on Apple for those of you who enjoy apples. And sorry for making so much fun of your platform.
We love you. We kid.
I'm not.
We kid.
I'm not.
We love you, people.
He doesn't speak for us.
I
We
still
love
love
you.
you, but I'm not. Sorry.
It's okay.
Love you though, but not sorry.
Yes. If you want to get in contact with us, you can hit us up at Twitter at this TWIL.
Yes.
I think. Okay.
Good.
I'm not on script right now because I'm too lazy to pick up my phone and look at the OneNote. Or you can send us an email at twil@thetechpirate.net. But yes, hope next week you will see me in a better space and environment. So until then, have a wonderful week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice.
So I would like to point out that Brandon does not have any wounds, new wounds, and neither do I.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Let me
yes.
get the board real.
Oh God. It finally
this is
fell.
Why this is the after the.
It couldn't
outro.
survive. It was going to happen eventually. Poor little surface.